What do you think at 16-4 at half-time, John?
To be behind by 2 tries against them, you're worried, but I wasn't too worried about the way we were playing. We weren't, a couple of balls weren't sticking again, but there was just a couple of basic errors, I thought, for their tries. Just a couple of guys just poor decisions in defence. I thought where you win games, we were doing well against them, around the middle of the field. I thought we were holding our own considering the amount of possession they had. But you're playing the premiers and you're 12 points down at half time. It's not a good feeling.
Craig Bellamy said they got what they deserved because you blokes started rolling through them, immediately in the second half. Did you have a good feeling after, say, 5 minutes in that second half?
Yeah, when Takatisi went close, you always worry. You start to think it's a night of missed opportunities because we had not much go our way in the first half, and you think, well, it's just going to be one of those nights. But our boys got a sniff at the ruck. I thought for the amount of defence we had to do, I think we had 50 odd more tackles in them in the first half. I thought we finished the half better, and our boys took it out in the second half.
What's the difference did Bird make in the second half, do you think?
Yeah, that's his type of game. He relishes them. The harder and the grittier. He'll make an error here and there, but he also forces a lot.
John, are they the wins that stick to you where you've had to grind it out like that? You've come from behind, but the forwards really did play well in that, didn't they?
Yeah, you got to enjoy the moment, but it's an enormous amount of effort goes into it, and I think the only thing that teaches, you've got to experience teachers. You've got to do it. It's on again next week. You enjoy the moment, and I don't think there's any such thing as a defining win, but it's tonight it's a fantastic feeling.
Speaking of the moment, does tonight trump the win at Olympic Park last year?
Oh, again, mate, hard to say. To beat Melbourne, it's an enormous achievement. They're machine-like. The first half they put against us was precision. They aimed to hit us on the right edge, and they went there I think 3 times and scored 3 tries. So it's they're a very good side.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best I've been a part of, I suppose. Coming from last week's pretty poor effort, I think. Even the amount of tackles, like Cuddy said, we did in the first half, there was still a good feel out there. Our defence was starting to hurt the blokes and they were getting tired, so that was inspirational for us to see. We just sort of kicked on from there.
And what about Will Zillman, mate? He was pretty good at the back.
And he was great for us tonight. I had chatted to him after the game. He was pretty excited. It's probably the most footy he's had, and the meters against the opposition was fantastic for him. And even just his talk behind the ruck was good for us. So pretty excited for him and for the team.
Cuddy was pretty pumped at the end of the game. Did you have to have any words with him in the lead up to this, given it was his first game against the other club?
Yeah, he's only he is a big kid, so he took last week well. He didn't have a good game last week, and he had a few things he had to rectify, and he made a few errors again tonight. But he's only a young fella, and what he brings to us is something we haven't had. He's as exciting as any centre in the game. I think the try he scored, he's been doing that on a weekly basis for us. So it was just more trying to keep them away from him. And not to worry about who was coming at him, just look at the jumper.
Matty Rogers had a good game as well with a lot of those tackles in a row around the ruck, and of course that's the crucial conversion as well.
Yeah, it's a really good lesson. That not a lot of ball went his way, but he still took himself to the game. He made some crucial tackles out of marker. He read in the game. And that's a real good lesson for wingers and centres. They don't have to score the tries all the time. They can stop them.
The attitude you're talking about, he sort of refused to suggest that contest might be overreach at any stage.
Yeah, you love his attitude, and it does rub off. We asked him before the game just to we need him to compete in every little battle, and he went out, he took it to heart, and he did. He had he didn't like something that happened to him. He let him know, and there was a bit of push and shove in there, and he wasn't going to cop that off anyone. And it is infectious, and the more they get to know him, the more he's growing on them.
You think you're losing for a few rep games this year?
It depends what they're looking for. It's hard to say what New South Wales are thinking in the halves, but you'd have to think he's made for Origin.
John, what kind of difference has Takatisi brought to the side this year compared to last year?
Yeah, he's to his credit, he's a different player. you know, and he's had an off season. You know, he's a year older, a year wiser. He's, you know, he brings strike to us. You know, he some of his defence when he got on there, it was, you know, he wowed him. You know, and the try he nearly scored. You know, he scored one last week for us. He's a bit like Tomaine. He's a weapon close to the line, but defensively is where he's been good for us. You know, he's gone out there as a fresh reserve, and he's really brought something to the game.
Ashley Harrison's 200th game, Cardi. Did he suffer a cork midway through the second half?
Yeah, when he scored the try, I think he just copped the knee as they tried to stop him. But typical of him, though. You know, I don't think being his 200th game and sniffing will coming back into the game. I don't think he wanted to come off, but he played about another 10 minutes with it. But it sort of got the better of him in the end. We had to rest him, but it's a pretty bad cork. But 7 days, hopefully he should be fine.
What do you think of Presso's scheming game?
Yeah, you know, he was. He was back to his best. But you know, these fellas give him a platform to work for. You know, work on and. He's as dangerous as anyone, you know. He played that ad-lib type footy. He had a bit of structure there, but when he saw something, he went for it, and that's what we all love to see.
John, that right edge you mentioned before, Melbourne came and attacked it. Is that still a bit of a concern for you? Something to work on?
Yeah, it was in the first half. We did, and it's tough. You know, it looks simple when it happens, but you know they've got to make a lot of decisions, them fellas, and the quality of the blokes coming at them. You only got to get a split second wrong, and it's a try. So they got us a couple of times on that edge, but we still held them to 16 points. And the second half, you know, we dressed it at half time, and I thought they were structurally they were a lot better in the second half.